Hello, everyone. So glad you could join us here today. I'm Andi Petrillo from OneSoccer. I hope many of you have been enjoying all the different sessions that Allstate has made available to you today, getting to know and have a chance to interact with the incredible soccer players who represent the Maple Leaf. And I'm sure there's other soccer players mixed in, but let's talk about that Maple Leaf because we have some massive games coming on up in the final stage of World Cup qualifying for the men. September 2nd at BMO Field. That's right. The guys are finally back home, truly on home soil. And it's the final round of World Cup qualifying, taking on Honduras. This is the AUK. This is where they want it to be. But the job isn't done. That's why we're calling it the Quest for Qatar 2022. And joining me are three special guys who are very much a part of the success that the Canadian men have had all season long. Yes, they're in the final round for the first time since 1997. They've also scored the most goals in the program's history in a World Cup qualifying year, right down to Kyle Laryea as well, getting the most goals by a single player in a single campaign. So there is a lot to be happy about, excited about, and more than anything, be proud about when it comes to these Canadian men representing the Maple Leafs. So let's welcome in three of them. So I'm pleased to be joined by Jonathan Osorio, who is the elder statesman on this team. I'm going to talk to him a little bit, getting that call up in 2013. But two newcomers as well have contributed a ton to this program. The next one, of course, will be Richie Laryea joining us today, and then Alistair Johnston as well. Gentlemen, how are we doing?
What's going on? How are we doing, Andi?
We're good. We're good. I'm going to begin with you, Oso, because I feel like you've seen a lot. And you've seen a lot of coaches too, right? So 2013, we're going back, you being part of this national team. If you were to put into your own words, just, looking at the trials and tribulations that you've been through, the ups and downs, what makes this group so special?
I just think for sure the brotherhood, the way we look out for each other is incredible compared to when I first joined the team. And I think that comes from, that's credit to the coaching staff coming in and building that culture, but also to us inside the team. I think a lot of us guys have grown up with each other and we've all made it, to this stage in different ways, and we all embrace that. So I think that's amazing in this team. The team chemistry in this team is something that unlike I've ever experienced, and it always makes it an honor and so enjoyable to represent our country with this team.
You really see it, especially after the games as well, Richie. The guys always coming together. I mean, sure, there's always that camaraderie, but there really just kind of feels like something different with this team. When you got that first senior call up in 2019, what was that transition like for you into this squad?
Yeah, that transition for me was it was pretty seamless in some senses because obviously I was going into camp with guys that I was teammates with in Liam and also, but also I think I've said this before. It was the guys that were older than me that I was going to go join in camp. I knew to some capacity because these are guys that I looked up to growing up and playing soccer here in Toronto. The guys like Oso, Daniil, Kava Jr., Atiba, all of them. It's just guys that I looked up to growing up. So that part, like when I first met them, it was almost like I already knew them because of how closely I followed them. And then there's a lot of guys around my age range that are guys I played with or against my entire club career here in Toronto. So it was also seamless in that sense because I already knew who they were. And then there's younger guys that look up to you that to some capacity as well. So it was for me super, super easy. And the atmosphere, like also said, is great because it's a brotherhood here. So it was not intimidating at all or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Alistair, do you pinch yourself maybe a little bit sometimes? I mean, you go from being drafted in MLS, to getting called up to the national team to having this kind of success. What's the year or two been like for you?
Oh, no, the year and a half has been nothing that I could have imagined. It's gone better than anything I could have hoped for. So, yeah, just getting that call in from John Herdman that he wanted me to come out to that first camp in January, I was just over the moon with it. And again, kind of just talking with what Richie and also touched on, is just getting that opportunity to get to play with these guys that you looked up to and maybe get a chance to be a part of that brotherhood is something that I was super excited for. And it was the same for me as playing in Nashville. I hadn't really had the chance to interact with too many of the Canadian guys, although I had grown up with some of them. And it's been really cool, growing up. I think all of us grew up playing in the GTA, so just kind of seeing how good that level was, and seeing some of the players that were developed through that kind of area. It was something that I knew that, hey, if I can show that I can play in the MLS, then maybe I'll get the chance, to go show that I can play with these guys too. And they made the transition so easy coming to the team. I mean, obviously Richie being a fellow right back, he took me under his wing pretty early, which was nice of him. And I think everyone on the team knew that we got a lot of talented young players, and the quicker that these guys can get taken under the wing and made to feel at home and feel comfortable, that the quicker that the team's going to benefit from it. So, and I think we've seen that with guys coming through in the past year, like myself, Tejan, and some other guys like that. So, I'm just really, really grateful to be a part of this group and excited for what this future holds for us.
Well, let's go to some immediate results. And I'm sure at the end of the day, obviously, you're competitors. So bottom line is you want to win. And if you don't win, there's obviously going to be some disappointment there. But knowing what the program has gone through, Oso, I'll come back to you. To see what you guys did at the Gold Cup. And, that game against the United States, it's like, duh, you look at that first little chunk, but then that was it. Canada dominated, that game. And we already know that, you beat them back in 2019 Nations League. Then you look at what you were able to do against Mexico. It took a penalty kick for them, and it took, a goal in stoppage time. Like, it took them right to the break. What did that do for your team? Did it affect the confidence? Did it raise that level of confidence?
Yeah, for sure. I think more than anything, that tournament, the Gold Cup tournament, especially the games against USA and Mexico, and I'll even put in the game against Costa Rica as well, because that was a really good performance by us, and a good test. More than anything, it put our confidence to a place like higher than it has ever been, I think. And our confidence and our belief, I think we really believe in this team, and we believe that we are a top team in this region. We believe that we have the top players in this region, and we showed it in those games. And so there's no denying it now. We've done it. We've showed it. Of course, like you said, this is everything is judged based on results. So we're not happy with the results, and we know that that's the next step now for us to really take that next step. But we know we can get there. We know we can do it now, and we know we can play with the best in the region and dominate. So, yeah, our confidence right now is sky high, and it's coming at a perfect time.
Yeah, and I know the fans are loving watching it as well. So that's Gold Cup. If we look ahead, Jeff Salisbury writing on in wants to know actually how each of you are prepping, but I'll come to you, Richie. Like, how are you approaching, the upcoming World Cup qualifiers, right? Because you have this Honduras, you have the United States, right? So you kind of have it in threes here, like, and then I'm blanking on the third one. El Salvador? Am I getting that one right?
Yes.
So I have to get my kid. There we go. See, I've got too much names and teams on the brain, but I knew it was in there somewhere. How are you approaching this, right? Because that's how they're doing it now. Everything's a little bit condensed too. Scheduling, COVID, still there. So it's in, 3 games really in a short amount of time. How are you approaching this, Richie?
Yeah, I'm taking it as a game-by-game type basis right now, because obviously I think everyone on the team and everyone here sees the light at the end of the tunnel with it being qualifying for Qatar. But I think there's going to be a lot of FIFA windows for us to qualify for the World Cup. So I think for me personally, the best way for me to prepare for these games is to just take it game by game and not, think too far ahead or get too ahead of myself or ourselves. So I think first and foremost is this Honduras game first at BMO, and then beating them, and then moving on to the US and Nashville, and then on to El Salvador. So for me, I guess it's more of a short term way of processing it, and just thinking about this camp or this FIFA window right now, and then once we do what we need to do here, we can move on to the next one, and then on to the next, and on to the next.
to ask you, Alistair, what it's like to truly play a home game, right? So we know that September 2nd one is going to actually be on Canadian soil. Thank you, Florida. Thank you, Illinois for hosting those home games, but they're not home games. How does it feel to actually be on Canadian soil for this?
I think that's probably the thing I'm most excited about for these. Obviously, they're massive matches with so much on the line, but just the opportunity for the first time for me being able to wear, the Canadian badge.
Can you hear me, Alistair?
And playing. Yes, I can. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
There we go. Just being able to play in front of the Canadian crowd for the first time. I mean, I got to watch the game on television, watching Oso and Richie out there when they beat the U.S. in 2019, and how much of just what an absolute festival it was almost within BMO. So, it's something that I want to be a part of. And I think all of us young guys and old throughout this team are just excited by that opportunity to play in front of a home crowd again and really have that, that home field advantage. So that's something that I know, we're all looking forward to and cherishing that moment. So yeah, just really excited for that.
Also, with the success of this team, with the new members, as well, elder statesmen, but also, young guys who have come on in and just injected this kind of life into the team as well, also creates that healthy kind of, internal competition battle, whatever you want to call it, right? But every day you show up wanting to be your best. How has that also affected the dynamic and how you approach the job with the national team every time you get called in?
To be a part of the national team. There's just so much competition in every position, and it's good for the team. It's what the team needs. It's what all good teams have, is competition. Handled in a very respectful and motivating way. Like I said, the brotherhood here, everybody looks out for each other. Everybody is rooting for each other. Everybody supports each other, and we try our best to be the best we can individually for the team, and then whoever's playing.
I think we're having a little bit of an audio issue, a bit of a delay. We'll see if these guys can hear me right now. I don't know if Jonathan.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you guys
hear
can
me?
You guys hear me?
I can hear you also.
Okay.
But my Wi-Fi's not great. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. My Wi-Fi is not great either.
Oh, who's the host now? Richie.
Richie, what's your next question?
Your Wi-Fi was shaking it just then.
Was it mine? Was it my Wi-Fi?
Whose?
I think Andy's first.
My Wi-Fi is shaking it too. I know.
But yours was going in and out.
Hot button.
I'll take over.
Am I back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can hear you.
I think I'm back if you can hear me. I know I had a bit of a delay where I was staring into the abyss, but I did hear your answer, Oso. It was a great answer.
Oh, okay. Cool. Perfect.
So we did get that far. We did get that far, so that's good. And you know what? I guess I'll kind of repeat it maybe in a different way also, with you, Richie. It's just, you come on in and it's incredible, right? Alistair comes on, it's incredible. Now you got Tajon Buchanan who comes on and it's incredible. Like, again, just how does that motivate you to also always give it your all when you're playing for the national team?
Yeah, I think, like you said, I think having competition is good and it's healthy and it's good problems for the coaching staff to have when you have so many good players. This is what our national team needs in order to reach the heights that we set out for ourselves to reach. Where it's everyone comes in and it's a group of 23 to whatever how many guys come into camp, and each and every player is capable of starting and putting in big performances. So now it pushes all the guys across the board that whoever it may be that you need to come into camp on your A game, or else there's other guys around you that are just as good or whatever the case might be. So I think it's good. It's healthy to have this type of competition with so many top players, guys playing all over the place, and yeah, it helps our national team massively.
Oh, here we go.
Richie's back. Oh boy. I thought my Wi-Fi was bad. Andy's Wi-Fi. This is tragic.
Also, it's frozen right now too. So
I'm frozen.
You guys are great. I'm going to ask you the next question from the audience. I really don't normally come up on screen, but what was your first reaction after watching Canada's women's team winning the gold medal? Alistair, we'll start with you because you got great Wi-Fi right now.
I got the best Wi-Fi. Are you serious?
Yeah, you do.
Bad right now. We're really down bad. No, it was actually crazy. I was at training, I remember, and I was just coming off light ankle sprain, so I was still inside, and we had that thing on the TV, and I stopped working out for 30 minutes watching that entire extra time and going to the PKs, and no, I was loving it. It was unbelievable. What a moment. I think they've kind of taken this country by storm. All the young boys and young girls are watching them, being inspired, and I think it's also inspired our team. I don't think there's any other way to look at it. When you look and see how well your women's national team's doing, it inspires us to kind of take it to that next level. We feel, a little bit of pressure now. Like, we got to make it to a World Cup. We got to show that we can hold our own too. So it was a really cool moment. All the credit in the world to them. I know how much hard work they put in, and just the graph that they've shown over the past couple years, and just honestly this past decade. And to really reward those players that have been through thick and thin, like Christine Sinclair and some of the younger players that are coming through as well. I think it was just truly deserved and an amazing accomplishment. And, I say it from everyone here on the men's team is we're just super proud, to also be wearing the crest too, and to represent, and hopefully we'll be able to represent the country just as well as they have.
Yeah, and it'll be just a matter of time before we're golden country across the board, right? It's coming.
Exactly.
Aside from, and this is Richie for you, aside from Mexico and the U.S., which nation do you see has the toughest test for us?
I think just across the board, this whole qualifiers, there aren't going to be many easy places for, say, to go and play games. Away at El Salvador could be tricky, away at Honduras, away at Jamaica. So there's going to be difficult away venues, but I don't think that takes away again from the group. I think this team's ready, and it's where everyone's going to see the worth of Canada soccer moving forward, like I just said, because obviously we all know it's not going to be easy, these qualifiers, but we have the team more than capable. We have the team to qualify one for the World Cup, but also clinch a top spot and not just play for the third or the fourth, the third or fourth place. We're going for first place, and I think we have the group of guys to do it. So yeah, it's going to be tough, but nothing that this group can't handle.
And Jonathan, to you, so keeping in line with that thought and questioning is, who is the toughest away crowd to play in front of?
That's a good question. I mean, to be honest, I haven't had the experience to play a World Cup qualifier against any of these teams. So all that would be new. I mean, we played in front of the U.S. crowd recently at the Gold Cup. And I imagine in Nashville it's going to be even more amazing. A lot more people. I know Alistair knows for sure, and so it's tough to say. I imagine Azteca full of people would be probably pretty tough. So I would say for the stadium, for how much it holds, and for also the conditions that you have to deal with, such as like the altitude, will probably be for sure our toughest test.
That makes sense. I didn't even think about altitude or anything like that playing a factor. And keeping in terms of, you know, thoughts and memories. So Alistair, back to you as probably the youngest guy on the team or in this crew. What is your earliest, best memory about playing for the national team?
Earliest best memory. I mean, I don't have too many of them yet, but I'd have to say definitely, man, this is tough. Qualifying, beating Haiti in the home and away was unbelievable. To get into the octagon was a great feeling. You could just see how much it meant to the guys, and kind of really put it into perspective for us younger players too, who didn't really understand that, you know, making to the octagonal was something that, you know, wasn't necessarily normal for Canada soccer. So that was a really cool feeling. But also just making to that semifinal of the Gold Cup was a pretty surreal feeling, getting to play in front of whatever it was. I think it was 72,000 Mexican fans that were just absolutely screaming for 90 minutes long, and really kind of getting to play at what felt like a World Cup kind of match, just with that atmosphere and the intensity on the field. And the Mexican players are top quality too. So it was an unbelievable battle. So I'd probably say those two are probably my best memories so far, even though that Mexico game ended in defeat.
And Richie, now the same question to you. Best memory since joining the national team?
Yeah, I think like Alistair just said, there's a few of them. You can't obviously say one without saying when we qualified for the octagon. It's obviously a massive moment for everyone involved with the program. So that's definitely there. And then I would say would be my debut against Cuba at BMO Field in front of my family and friends and all that. So that was special because obviously it was a debut, but also being able to do it in the city I was born and raised in was cool to have my family and friends in the stands as well. So that's a moment I always treasure and think about whenever I think about good memories for the national team. And then obviously the other one is beating the US in 30 plus odd years or something like that here at BMO Field as well, which is another big one for the program. And I think which was the start of, I think, something new for this team as well. I think it kickstarted a lot of emotions and all that into the group after we beat them.
Excellent. Andi is back with us, so I'm gonna bring her back on the screen and end my hosting duties forever. Thank you very much.
So I'm a rebel without a cause, apparently. Sorry about that, guys. No, I think I'm good now.
We're back.
You sound better.
We are back. I was still able to listen to the conversation, which was fun. I was just in the background. So, but it's all good. I'm trying to get some R&R before the big game on Thursday. So I'm at the cottage, and I guess Wi-Fi is a little sketchy over here. I apologize. But I'm sure Richie and Oso would appreciate this because you know my husband well. We've been playing like a game of cornhole, and he beat me and my family each and every time. So now we're not on speaking terms. I refuse to speak to him until tomorrow when the cottage weekend is over. So there's that high competition that I kind of, when I filtered out, I was talking about competition in the team. Trust me, we have competition in the family. I feel ya. But all right, so let's get now. I'm curious to know, and I don't think this one was asked, and maybe I'll start with you, Oso. Like when you look at the Oct right now and the teams that are in it, which one would you say in particular maybe you're most looking forward to, or maybe one also that you think could be, I don't want to say the toughest because I know they're all pretty tough, but so let's stick with maybe the one you're looking forward to the most.
I mean, for sure, I think the games against Mexico and US, those are the ones we really look forward to. You know, those are two of the best teams in the region, and I mean, two teams that are ranked in the top 10.
There he goes.
Okay, that's not me.
No, that's him.
It's not you. It's not you.
Yo, wait, am I gone or am I back?
You're
you're
back,
back, you're back.
but you were gone.
You were very gone.
But no,
And there he goes again. I think what he meant to say, Andy, was they're in the top 10. So that's what he was getting at.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay.
So, and I was gonna say probably the away game against Mexico. I'm really looking forward to, especially after what we experienced at Gold Cup. It was just a great atmosphere to play in, and so I'm really looking forward to that.
Okay, but how about this? Maybe to piggyback off of that, and I'll come to you, Richie. What was your reaction when you found out? Because originally Mexico had some sanctions come their way for certain reasons, and it looked like that game where Canada would be in Mexico, there weren't going to be any fans in the stands. Now it was just released that there will be fans in the stands because their fine got reduced by a game. What was your reaction when you heard that? I mean, did it matter at all, or were you kind of like, I don't know, because that can be a pretty hostile environment.
Yeah, honestly, I think I don't think it matters too much because I know we just played against them and it was an away game for us. It was in the States, but it was 72,000 Mexican fans, so it wasn't in our favor then, and it's not going to be once we go down there as well. So I think this also is good because this is what the team needs, because we're going to play games, especially the nation we want to be and we're panning ourselves out to be. We're going to have to go in and play tough away games in places like that. And if you can go to Azteca and beat Mexico there in a hostile environment, now you're talking about going to the World Cup and playing against Brazil or whoever it might be in another tough environment. So I think it just helps you get ready for what's to come and the direction we're trying to take this national team. So I think instead of looking at it like damn, we could have played against them in an empty stadium, it would have probably been a little bit better for us. It's more of like a challenge now for us that we're playing them and it's going to be a full stadium, and how much better it would feel to beat them at their place with all their fans in a hostile environment.
And I mean, Alistair, obviously, because you just got the call up, right? Like a lot of things are kind of new to you in that sense. So I guess my question to you would be, in some ways, though, are you looking forward to just what a lot of these other places also have to offer as far as that environment goes?
Yeah, I've heard a lot from the older guys about what it's like going to play in Honduras, going to play in these really difficult places. And I mean, I'm just super excited for the experience. But yeah, at the same time, this is a group now that we're confident in our abilities. We're pretty quietly confident that, going to the Azteca, it doesn't matter if there's a crowd or not. At the same time, we want to go, we want to get a result. So, that's something that I think we're all excited for. So yeah, I'm really excited to go play in these away games. But at the same time, I think the home games, super excited for too, because you just know BMO is going to be rocking. I mean, we all saw what it looked like when Canada beat the U.S. there in 2019. And now I can only imagine what it would look like if we beat the U.S. in Canada, and it's in the Octagon. So, it's one of those ones that no matter what, whichever game you look at, I think there's definitely going to be big points about them that we're going to be excited for, and it's an opportunity in whichever way you look at it for big 3 points. And we know we got to win our home games, so it's going to be really important that our Canadian fans show up and show out nice and loud for us. And then we got to go take care of business on the road as well. So, I'm probably most excited as well for that Azteca one. I think that's going to be crazy. And selfishly, me playing in Nashville, getting to play the U.S. there will be really cool for me as well. Getting booed in my home stadium will be fun. So that's something that I'm also excited for.
Okay, yeah, your mettle will definitely get tested when you're starting to get booed very loudly by the opposition. That is for sure. So also, I'm wondering, who's the best player you've ever played against on the national team?
On the national team, trying to think. She's gone.
She's back.
Honestly, I don't even know the answer to that question. Who have we played?
A Mexican player or an American, maybe? Pulisic?
Yeah, I'm not saying that.
I'll give that cookie cutter answer. No, you're not giving him that. Yeah, I agree.
100% missed that.
No, I didn't answer the question yet. I was just speaking with Alistair and Richie. Obviously, playing the U.S. and the Mexico, they've had some really good players.
And he's gone.
When can we start doing things in person again?
Richie, it's gonna be me and you very soon. Just me and you.
You both are gonna disappear.
So and I just keep coming in and out. I know, or keep disappearing. Oh man. Well, maybe Richie, in the meantime, you can say who the best players that you played against when you were representing Canada.
Yeah, I think I could kind of piggyback off of what Oso was saying, that between U.S. and Mexico, obviously when you play against them, you're going up against some pretty good players. So I could probably just say to date, which is the last game we played against Mexico, going against Corona. He was obviously a pretty good player, and coming up against him was I knew it was going to be difficult, and that he would be tricky in a bunch of different ways. So playing against him was a challenging, I will say.
What's up, lads? How's it going?
What's going on?
So we're having some fun times with Andy's Wi-Fi, so I thought I might as well step in. And I've got some good Wi-Fi going on, 5,000 square feet kind of gaming Wi-Fi to keep me going.
There we go.
So yeah, let's jump into it. I know a couple of us got into the topics of brotherhood. So this one is for Oso. Richie and Alistair, you already answered this. Oso, which one goes first, milk or cereal?
Cereal.
Cereal? Okay, cool.
Say the cereal goes in first 100%.
Okay, cool. So we've all established that, and I think we're all golden. Alistair does not have to disown you after this. Trust issues.
If someone had said the milk goes first, man, we were going to have some serious issues. That's a scary dude right there.
Oh, what monster puts milk in first? Yeah, 100%. So on the topic of brotherhood, this question is for you, Richie. What's it like, playing regularly with like Alphonso Davies on the opposite side of the wing? Like, how do you build that connection?
First, it's obviously been great to play with him. He's I just finished saying this earlier in the day that we're fortunate to have the best player in CONCACAF playing on our team. So just I think for all of us, not only me, but same with Alistair, it's good to be able to feed off of guys' energy. A guy like that who's steps on the field or even on and off the field, he's always super positive and good vibes and all that type of stuff. So I think just about the connection, I think you just go off of what he does kind of, because he's easy to help build confidence for the team, because he's either skinning 3-4 players and now other guys are open on the field, or him just bringing that big presence he has, that you see that he brings to Bayern Munich. So this is a guy all of us learn from and we're able to take advantage of at the national team. So that's what I would say on that.
Awesome. And I'm going to dive into the questions from one of the fans, actually. So this one will go to you, Alistair. Jeff asked, how does the squad train to deal with the altitude at Azteca?
Some hyperbaric chambers, I think. I don't know yet. We haven't gotten that far. I don't know what John's got up his sleeves for us, but I know there'll be something that we'll be doing. I don't know. We might have a quick stop in Colorado or something on the way down there. But I honestly, I'm not the person to ask for this. Oso's definitely your guy. I'm not sure if Oso's actually ever played in the Azteca either. But I've got no clue. No clue what we're going to do. Hopefully not a lot of running, though. Not any extra fitness.
So also, you've been thrown under the bus for this one. You got to give me an answer.
Well, I have played at the Azteca. I just haven't played there with the national team. I do remember though, with my club TFC, before we did our CONCACAF Champions League run in 2018. That preseason, we went down to Mexico for preseason.
Yeah.
So we had that, and then also I remember they had the mass, the altitude kind of like the mass that we weren't training in them, but we were, I guess, training off the field with them, like in the gym, doing gym sessions with those altitude masks, getting used to it. They had us sleeping with them if you could, for guys that like could sleep with them. I couldn't, to be honest. I couldn't sleep with it. It wasn't comfortable. But we were doing that kind of stuff. I don't know if we can do that with the national team. With the club, obviously, is different because you're with them. You're
day in, day out.
And with the national team, we have only a certain amount of time to prepare. So we don't have an answer for that yet, but we will come, I think, next month.
Cool. Okay. Now, the next question is for Richie and Alistair. I know we've already touched upon this, but since we do have an audience right now, can we just get a little insight on what it was like to move from League One, Sigma and Vaughan Azzurri, to the MLS Super Draft and, fulfilling your dreams of being at the MLS stage? So we'll go with Richie first.
Yeah,
Richie.
Like I said earlier, I think the league served its purpose perfectly, for guys like us, where it was, we were in college or just going into college, and we had the inaugural season where we were able to play against, like I said, playing guys 5-6 years older than you, and you're about to go do the exact same thing in college as well. So I think it's perfect in that sense because it helps you, because I remember even from the first game that I played at the OSA, I was going up against guys that were so much older than me. And it helped though, because when I went to college, I was a freshman, and you have seniors that could be as old as they wanted to be, so it was eye-opening for me, and then also helped me from the transition to college, and then obviously from college then into the leading into the MLS Super Draft. So yeah, I think the league was extremely organized. It was put together well. The teams were all really good. It was competitive from day one of when it started, and I think it was a breath of fresh air for a lot of people in Canada to see, or in Ontario to see, that the league was as good as it was straight off the jump. And then you see a lot of guys there were going into national teams, youth national teams, men's national teams, into colleges, getting drafted. So I think not only for me and Alistair, but for a lot of people, it served its purpose perfectly for us, because it was like a stepping stone, which was needed for us to get from here, then to college, then just to keep going. So I think it couldn't have come, thankfully for us, at a better time that other people older than us didn't have the opportunity to be able to enjoy the league like we did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll touch on what Richie said. I think it was spot on. I think just the opportunity to play with guys who were grown men, and getting the opportunity at the age of like 15 or 16 to go out there and really play against guys who are down in the States playing college soccer, or are kind of guys who have gone through the system and are still around. We had guys on my team, and my Vaughan team, that were late 20s, who were really good players, like ex-pros that came back to play. And also just in the summers when you got to come back and you'd see kind of the teams they're almost like all-star teams start to assemble. I mean, Sigma would always put together a really good team. Vaughan would put a really good team together. You'd have all the young TFC boys have a team. So no, it was just a really good league. And I think that it also was kind of a great developmental ground for a lot of players. And also it showed Canada that like a thing like a CPL could work. The Canadian Premier League, I think, saw that how well, League One Ontario did, and also the fellow league in and Quebec was doing in terms of producing talented players that, can compete at that next level. And it kind of really kickstarted the CPLs, in my opinion. I think that if League One hadn't really been as big of a success as it has been, I don't think we would have seen the CPL maybe yet. Maybe we still have been kicked down the road a few more years. So I think it's been great for young players like myself, like Richie, coming through the system, just to get a chance, to get in front of some eyes and really test yourself at that next level. So League One was great for me, and hopefully it'll continue to be a great pipeline for players in the future.
Awesome. So to all the fans that are watching right now, here are a few tips that Richie and Alistair just had for you. Keep pushing, keep gunning. Now let's move into a little fun question. Other than BMO Field, obviously, which is your favorite city or stadium to play at? We'll start with John, or as Mikey says, Johnny.
My favorite stadium to play in, with the national team?
Yeah, we'll go with the national team. We'll do both, actually, club and national.
That's so tough. I don't know. Probably, I would say I really like playing. No, never mind. I don't like playing there. When I played actually the LAFC stadium, I really enjoyed that. The new one, I think it's a really good stadium. I probably the stadium that I like playing in the most.
Nice. What about you, Richie?
I think the best atmosphere outside of BMO Field that I've experienced was the 2019 final in Seattle. I think that was a really, really cool environment to see, especially with our fans there too. So I would say that was, outside of BMO Field, probably the best away experience, either there or like also at LAFC, or even potentially Atlanta, especially when they first got Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and I went shortly after, and that was pretty special too.
And what about you, Alistair, other than BMO Field or Nashville, obviously, for the fans?
Yeah, not playing for TFC, I feel like I should be allowed to say BMO, because that is an unbelievable pitch they've got in there right now, in a great stadium. But I have to say, I really like Sporting KC's. I think they got a really cool stadium. It's got a really cool just atmosphere and environment with how, like, it feels like the seats are right on top of you, kind of. And it's not a huge stadium, but they pack it really well, and it's always a good atmosphere in there. And after with Richie, like when you play in Atlanta, I know it's turf and it plays odd, but just in terms of the atmosphere, just pulling into the place, you go, oh my goodness, like this is a real stadium. This is a spaceship kind of situation. So that was always really cool, and they do a great job of packing their fans in there, and especially playing with Nashville down there, it's kind of a local rivalry. So it always feels good to beat them in their stadium and shush them. And then with the national team, I think not in terms of like a pitch, in terms of quality of pitch, just because in Gold Cup they were kind of like laid out in the football fields, but I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan, so getting to play in AT&T Stadium down in Dallas was crazy. That place was insane. Just the locker room alone, it was like, you could have held a party in there. It was so big. So that was probably my favorite one I played in internationally so far.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Still need to visit outside Toronto, just home, and that's it. Let's break into the fans and the COVID aspect. So how has COVID affected your training routine over the last 18 months? Let's start with Oso.
Well, to start, we haven't really been able to play at home, and that's affected a lot. It's affected a lot. It's affected everybody a lot, as far as training routine, like the whole, when we first had to quarantine and stay at home and train at home, that was a test, I think. Training by yourself and not knowing when the season was going to start up again, that was tough. But motivating yourself that the season would come back, and every day you got to train to keep getting better and not lose time, or not let this let you lose time or things like that. So other than that, you kind of adapt and you try to keep going. Now we're back home and it kind of feels a little bit more normal, as far as training and everything. But as far as on the field and getting with the team, nothing has changed. Like, aside from the fact that you get tested maybe every other day before you go on the field, and that's it. Everything else is pretty much the same.
Cool. Richie, you want to add on to that?
Yeah, I would just say at the beginning when it first COVID first really took us by storm in the beginning of March in 2020. That part was hard because you were having to stay fit on your own and not really able to do anything in group activities. So that was tough for me because once we did come back to individual training, I tried to stay in shape, obviously on getting on the bike at home and whatnot. But as soon as we got on the grass and we're doing individual training and soccer related stuff, I was dead. I was so unfit. So it affected me in that sense, and it took obviously a bit after being at home for months on end to then get up and try to get going again. But yeah, outside of that, I think it became somewhat normal once we pushed past the individual trainings and then got into group settings again.
Yep. I mean, you want to start wars here? Let's do that. Since we're starting wars here, between the three of you, who is the fastest in a 100-meter dash?
Me.
Is that true, Richie, Alistair?
It is. It's Os.
Yeah, it's Oso for sure. I think Oso running backwards could beat me and Richie.
Wow. Okay.
Honestly, I'm not in that race, and between these two, it will be a tough race. Like that would be. I would like to see that. I would like to see that actually. Maybe.
Well, you could do it tomorrow. Take a
Richie,
video for it. How about this? September 2nd or September 8th, we have some fans here. Why don't just the three of you do it at BMO Field? That way people can see it in person.
It sounds like they want to save it for next year. It looked like there.
Maybe.
As long as Fonzie's not racing too, I'm fine with racing anyone on the team. But I don't need to get smoked by 10 meters. So as long as that's the case, I'm all right.
Okay, so we'll look out for this on September 2nd and September 8th. Since we're on the topic of speed, if you had to choose another sport, Richie, to play pro in, what would it be?
Basketball.
Basketball? Okay.
Or Hooper.
I've seen your handle, Richie. It ain't at that level, man.
And what about you, Alistair?
Let's not bring up Chicago in the hotel there. I remember that handle. That wasn't pretty. What was going on there?
I was tired.
You would tuck your knees when you were shooting. I didn't know what was going on.
We just finished the game, man. I was tired.
What about you, Oso? What sport would you choose?
Me, probably basketball. I like basketball a lot, but or tennis. I would like to play tennis. Yeah.
Okay, Alistair.
Wow, took the answer out of my mouth. I was gonna do tennis. I think if I got to be like top 5 in the world of sport, I would pick tennis. That would be fun.
Oh, and here I was thinking about Formula One, but we'll go with those, the less intense ones. And also, what are you most excited about for 2022 in terms of soccer?
Outside the World Cup, of course.
World Cup.
Outside the World Cup, that's what we're looking for. That's what we're working now for. As the journey, begins this week, and 2022. I think, that's the World Cup. At the end of the year, we want to be playing in the World Cup, and I think that would mean so much, not only to everybody individually, but to this country.
Yeah.
First and foremost, I think it would just change the way soccer is looked at in this country, and I think it will change the way soccer is moving forward. So yeah, just thinking about it, just it gives me goosebumps.
What about you, Alistair?
I mean, also spot on. It's got to be just Qatar. I mean, at the end of the day, like, I think 8 months ago when I came into the group, it was more about, okay, can we make it to the octagon and create history that way? And since we really got together and realized how good and how talented this team is, I think we've all kind of elevated our expectations to it's Qatar bus kind of situation. So I'm super excited. I hope that I can just contribute in any way possible to us reaching that goal, because I do really think it would be monumental if we manage to do that. And yeah, just like I was saying, I think the change that you would see across the country as well, and just that combined with how well our women's team's been doing, I think it would really lead to us becoming a real true footballing nation, which would be really cool.
Okay. Since it's like the FIFA World Cup is the stage, when you were all children, did you ever imagine yourself reaching that stage? Because again, as much as it's a physical sport, it's a mental sport. Did you always have that fortitude and belief that you can reach that World Cup level? We'll go with Richie.
Yeah, these are like things you dream about as a kid, you know, playing in the backyard or whatever it might be, screaming out random countries' names for scoring penalties, winning goals, and all that. So yeah, definitely, this is something I've dreamt of and wanted to do. But obviously, I feel like now it's even, and growing up, it was obviously something I still did, but I think it's become way more apparent now with the way the national team's playing. You know, maybe before you were obviously still dreaming and thinking about that and wanting to play with Canada in a World Cup, but the way things were going, it was tough. But now that this group, since John's taken over and he's created this culture with the group, I think now, especially for kids that are coming up and playing, for them, it looks very achievable and very promising, you know, because of the way the group is playing right now and the players that the group has and all that. It's something that doesn't probably seem as far as it probably looked like for also Alistair and I when we were growing up and thinking about playing with Canada in a World Cup. But now, you know, full circle, we have the opportunity to do that. We have a big chance to do that right here, starting with the game against Honduras. So it's nice. Yes, it's something you dream about, and now it's almost like coming to life where you have the opportunity to go out and do it and achieve the dream that you had set out for yourself from when you were young.
Okay. Before we have a couple of minutes left, before we fade away, do you have any last piece of wisdom or advice for all the upcoming, your future Canadian teammates who are watching you right now? We'll go with Alistair.
Are you going to give it to the youngest guy here? Okay.
Yeah, 100%. Throwing you under the bus.
I would say is that if you really love the sport and you really love what you're doing, just keep pushing through. It doesn't matter what setbacks you have. If you really have the true desire and will to want to reach that level, if you put yourself in, continue to put yourself in opportunities to succeed and do the right things, you know, good things happen to you. So that's probably what I would say is coming from someone that wasn't highly recruited from day one, always was undersized. You know, I just kind of stuck with it and good things happened. So that's kind of my 2 cents for all the young players out there.
Cool. And from the youngest to the oldest, I want to throw in also?
Yeah, no, just I guess add to that is just my biggest advice is to believe in yourself, to work hard, to be disciplined and you know, truly work at your craft and enjoy doing that as well, to embrace that. So yeah, there's not really much more to add to what Alistair said, but to add even to repeat, I guess, what Richie was saying. Now the kids have, you know, a team like ours to look up to and to see that, you know, we were them at one point. We were kids just dreaming at one point, and now we're here with a chance to, you know, play in the final round of qualifying. So any kid can achieve it as long as they dream and work really hard.
Awesome. Lads, Mikey, do we have enough time for another question? I believe not. Well, oh, we do. Okay. This one's more for Richie and Oso. given that you're going to be playing against El Salvador soon, have you guys began the banter or maybe slowly injuring Eric Zavaleta right now? Let's take him out the game.
No, we haven't actually. We've spoken about it a few times, and nothing more than that, to be honest. So it'll be a good game. It'll be obviously for him, I'm sure, a big moment for him to play at BMO Field with El Salvador, as it will be for us to play at BMO Field with Canada, because of how long it's been since we last played a game there.
Okay, awesome. So thank you again so much, Jonathan Osorio from Toronto FC Canada Soccer, Richie Laryea from Toronto FC Canada Soccer, and Alistair Johnston from Nashville SC and Canada Soccer. Mikey, could we just do like a one, screenshot picture to prove that I actually spoke to these lads? Just so I can tell people. Whenever you're ready, Mikey. 1, 2. I don't even know if he took it. But yes, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time and coming out to the Allstate Soccer Show. We look forward to watching you play on September 2nd and 8th. If you see like a really crazy fan in the stands throwing his shirt, it's not me, or maybe it could be. But yeah, I will see you lads soon. Thank you so much. All the fans, thank you for tuning in. Head on to meet Pozuelo and Morrow in their meet and greet rooms. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.